Okay, so I think this is happening quite often. You don't like going to school, so I think I should discuss this with your teacher during the next PTO. Oh, please don't make it worse for me. How many of you actually resonate to this? Do you remember that this has happened with all of us at some given point of time? And we've had those days when we've not wanted to go to school. And it still happens with a lot of students, even today, when they just don't want to go to school because of various reasons. I know that I've actually taken some of you back to those days when schools traumatized us. So I want to bring you all back here to this beautiful place, the TEDx platform, because you're my esteemed audience for this particular talk. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all the lovely humans here, welcome to TEDx. My name is Astha, and usually what I put up on my slide is flowers to welcome my audience. But I know that there are certain different things that make people happy nowadays, so I decided to put up something, actually a few of those things that actually can make you all smile, and I can see that $1 million smile on everyone's face. Yeah, I can actually see that, wow. So mission accomplished. Okay, so those thoughts that have actually bothered you about the school, don't worry. Now, I think I've tried to bring you back here, and I also have a magical spell with me, something magical to share with you all, which can actually remove the trauma to some extent from our minds for the present schoolgoers and also for the future schoolgoers. So there is an idea, a revolutionary concept that I want to bring in the education system, and I'm going to share that with all of you today. Awesome. Ready? BTM? No. No. Actually, it's student-teacher meet. Now, it might make you wonder that what is the student-teacher meet? About 6 years back, I've been associated to the field of education for many, many years now. I've been studying education, trying to understand what all it has in store for everyone, and who are the stakeholders, and what is everyone's role, besides, of course, our lovely students. So I started my research on this topic 6 years back, and I remember one fine morning I was out in my local park and I met a child. And since I was observing a lot of things, trying to understand a lot of things about education, I kept observing every little thing that was happening around me. So I saw this child, about 8 or 9 years old. He was sitting alone. And it was school time, but he was not attending school. He had a very heavy bag and very heavy expressions on his face. So I couldn't resist myself. I went to him and I asked him, what happened? Reluctantly, he told me that, now I actually don't want to attend school. So I said, why? I don't like school. I said, have you done your homework? Yes, I have, he said that confidently. And what about your subjects? Which subject you don't like? I love all the subjects. I'm very fond of every subject. Again, he was very confident about it. Simple. I just don't like my teachers. They are very bad. So I said, have you shared it with your parents? Yes, but they say it's okay. They just brush it off by saying that it's a pretty normal thing to not feel good about school. But I just feel strange. I feel unheard. And I feel left out at school, so I don't want to go to school. So actually, that made me understand that I need to work faster, quicker, and I need to go deep into the concept of STM. I have to do it quickly because there are many more children like him struggling every day. Maybe at school, maybe in some local parks, at home. They don't want to attend school because they don't have anyone to share their thoughts with. They might be brilliant in studies, but they don't want to attend school. Now imagine if this little boy had a teacher whom he could confide in. whom he could share his joys and sorrows with, his challenges, his everything that was making him anxious. So he would have actually attended the school with a big smile on his face every day. But that's not happening because teachers are not spending the right time with students. And this student-teacher connect is what I think is going to be a beautiful concept. On this platform, I want to give it a beginning so that it reaches every single student, everywhere, in every town, all over the world. Because it's not that we can counsel a few students, we can have mentor-mentee sessions, we can have PTMs and everything is good. No, we have many students who are struggling every day and they are being left out, not enjoying the school, and that is why the cases of absenteeism, depression and all of that is increasing. Now, what is STM? A lot of you must be thinking that it's a fancier version of PTMs. What exactly are PTMs? Actually, it is not something which matches the frequency of PTMs because PTMs are followed worldwide as a general concept wherein we are trying to bridge a gap between parents and teachers. They meet, they talk about the student, where the student is not actually involved most of the times. So there's a lot of gossip happening, but the child is not involved. He hardly knows what's happening around. And they take it as a tornado. Okay, there's a PTM coming up. I don't know what my parents are going to discuss with the teacher. And sometimes the teachers don't even know what they want to talk about the student because from both ends, there is a miscommunication. So it is definitely not PTM. This is actually giving a switch over to the concept of PTM. So there's a twist in the plot when we talk about STMs. Now what STMs are actually going to do is, they are going to create a private, judgment-free zone where students and teachers can talk. So there's going to be a student and there's going to be a teacher. They both sit and they talk to each other. It is not just about grades, it is about the student. So it's like OTT of education. Why? Because it is tailor-made for every student. It is binge-worthy. And it is actually addictive, highly addictive, in a good way. Now, I just want you to imagine a scenario where the anxious PTMs have been taken away and we are having STMs where a student gets the opportunity to share everything, joys, sorrows, get into an ice-breaking session, have conversation with the teachers, and in a private space where the student gets to discuss everything by opening up his heart, pouring out everything that he or she wants to. That's what STMs bring for us. Now, you must be wondering that, okay, what are the other reasons why STMs are required? Because some people sometimes think that we have also gone through the trauma of school. Nowadays, children are trying to be very dramatic about everything and they are just always talking about, I have a lot of mental pressure, and you don't know the anxiety that I'm going through, and these mental health issues are just hyped. But what if I just say, imagine I'm your teacher and I say, I want to talk to you after this. Scared, right? Okay, why are you scared? You're scared because, in fact, if I do this role play with anyone out here, they'll be scared. Because this would remind of the fear that we have when it comes to the teacher-student bond. And why do we need to have that fear? We need to have respect for our educators and not fear. So if my teacher says, I want to talk to you, I should be happy. Okay, it must be something that ma'am wants to discuss with me. Instead of me having that element of fear in me, right? So it's like a courtroom. Students are put at trial. And, most of the times, children don't get the opportunities to discuss all those little or grave issues that they want to with their teacher. Now, STMs matter because they are going to shift the focus from merely academic performance to other important areas. Now, I'll be giving you a gist of what are those other important areas as well. to address real problems like discomfort. There could be bullying, anxiety, trauma, and depression. We all have heard of these terms, and we also know that our students are suffering. They are going through all these issues in the present times. So, keeping in mind that all these issues are being sorted out by STMs, we would also get the opportunity to handle issues like indiscipline, absenteeism, and dropouts, which actually the schools are suffering. So if we actually look at the first 2 points, it's for the students. The third point, where most of the schools feel that, okay, this should not happen, right? Now, we also need to understand that though STM is actually an art, so when you are having a student-teacher meet, it's going to be in a very beautiful way. You're going to have some engaging activities with the students, you're going to have fun with them, but there is a lot of science behind it, and there is also human factors. Why? Because it's human-to-human interaction. There are no robots at any side. Okay, so we have to make sure that when one human is talking to the other human, they are thinking of human factors. Now, what are human factors? When we are trying to understand everything about the other person in a little psychological way. I'll give you a few examples here. Now, when I talk about the science involved in this, or human factors involved in this, what I actually mean is that if I have a student who is an underperformer, what could be the reasons for my student being underperformer? Maybe he is in a shell that he's finding difficult to come out of. Now, when we talk of human factors, our students we have to understand that our students are actually dealing with a lot of tangibles around them. Our students are dealing with a lot of other human beings every day, and they are also dealing with rules, norms, and a lot of other things. So, have we actually seen those challenges that they are going through? Is something that we need to understand. What about their needs? My student is not attending the school. Why? I have to understand, are his physiological needs being fulfilled? So those very basic needs that my student must have being fulfilled, is that being taken care of? Is my student enjoying the sense of belongingness, love, and nurturing that he actually needs? Is he getting opportunities to explore everything that's around him? So when it comes to knowledge, the opportunities to explore are very important. So again, if there are certain issues with my student, if I have monitored his needs, a lot would be understood. Also, when we always look into grades, aren't we actually supposed to look at the emotional side of my student? Okay, this particular student has scored 100 out of 100, but what about his emotional sensitivity? Have I addressed the issues when it comes to his emotional sensitivity? What about his curiosity to learn things? Sometimes those super genius students are actually not interested in knowing what's happening in the class because they are rote learners. So they don't want to know what's happening around them. Their social life is also sometimes not good. So all of that, and also actually adversity quotient, wherein the students start panicking when we try to change anything for them to, even the slightest way. So all of these can happen or can be understood only during an STM. So when I get an opportunity to talk to my student, there's lots that my student will tell. Ma'am, this is the problem that I'm going through, and please can you help me with this? And that is why I have not been able to perform. And of course, one very important thing is the release of happy hormones. We've all heard of happy hormones, right? Now, when can that happen? When you have that safe zone in STM, there's a student and a teacher sitting together, having a good time, they're doing some fun activities, they're interacting with each other. So what are we doing? We are helping them release happy hormones. And they are going to do that all the time because now they know that this particular teacher has made me happy, and now I know my school is a comfortable place for me. Now you must be wondering that why can't student counselors do these things? They can take care of all the issues that students are going through. One counselor for thousands of students? Can that particular counselor have regular meetings with all the students? Not possible. And is that counselor actually spending time with the students? No. So, this has to happen with the teacher who's spending 1/3 of the day with the student, right? So, from kindergarten to the senior secondary school, everybody should have STMs, should get engaged in it with the teacher whom they are spending their maximum time with. STMs, of course, are grounded in science and they're backed by research and designed with precision. So all of you who have doubts about how is it going to take place and how are teachers going to understand human factors, well, there is going to be a set program for teachers wherein it is all documented by me, wherein I've done research on this, and the field that I come from, aviation, is where human factors is given a lot of importance, because any error that happens in this particular field, we always look into, we go back to understand what must have happened, why that particular mistake happened. And that's what we are also trying to apply in this particular field. So the teachers are going to be trained on it so that they can apply human factors during the process of STMs. Now, quickly I'll take you through how it is going to be implemented. There is going to be a designated meeting area, definitely not in the class. It has to be in an area where the student and the child are sitting, but they are not in a confined place. So if any one of you is thinking that it's going to be in a very private space, no. But it is not going to be publicly as well. There's going to be a clear structure and time management would be done. So there's going to be a particular time assigned for every STM so that teachers don't feel haphazard about the whole process. There is going to be a personalized approach, so it's not like one size fits all. Every student, of course there is going to be a standard list of questions that they're going to ask, but it is going to be personal based on what the student wants to share. And of course, real-time issues would be shared. Some STMs would be wherein it's just fun and joy, and some STMs would actually have real issues which would be escalated to other departments as and when required. The implementation, I beg your pardon, is going to build a lot of trust. There is going to be privacy by setting certain boundaries, a set of operating procedures, a follow-up, because STMs are supposed to be planned every quarter before the PTMs, and feedback would be taken from the students so that consistency and regularity can be maintained. So, way forward, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to STMs empowering the students and making a very safe place for them. And if you ask me, is something like this going to be possible? Well, I say yes, because if we can teach calculus to teenagers, I think this is something very easy to manage. So, I look forward to STMs reaching everywhere with no student left unattended and no stone left unturned to make STMs a talk of the town, actually every town. Thank you for hearing me.